560. Our Indiana County Commissioner is in the studio with us here this morning, and we are joined, of course, by, from my left to right, Mike Keith, Shireen Hess, and Robin Gorman. Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning, Todd.
It's good to have you all with us. Our conversation brought to you by Marcus & Mack, voted best personal injury law firm in the Best of Indiana County contest. Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. And, okay, so I'm just going to say this one word, and whoever wants to respond can. Broadband.
Let's all jump to the microphone.
That's interesting. You ought to say that. Actually, last week at the commissioners' meeting, we actually awarded the balance of the contract. It was a I would say a unique awarding, and the reason I say that is prior awardings of contracts, basically whatever monies we actually had to put out there for a building, that's what it was. This last proposals that we received, and there was a number of them, I believe 5 or 6 of them, but the uniqueness of these the proposals, especially two, one was from Verizon, the other was from REA, is that they truly want to be a partner. And the reason I say that is we had $4.6 million left over for the construction, and they decided that they want to be good partners, and they were actually, on behalf of their companies, they were fronting monies also. So it ended up that through the talks and everything back and forth, which was a number of them, REA was awarded the contract. And again, when REA actually came with their proposal, it was, again, different because we had the last proposals where we had the different trunks, main trunks I want to call, throughout the county. This is a totally different build. This build that they're using our money for is going to go basically from the southern, if you would actually look at Indiana County map, it would be the southern west, and it would actually go up around to the north and then come back down on the eastern side. That was going to be our money for the main trunk, I would say. And then after that, REA's proposal was to build off of that. So, again, very, very unique situation, and total build, I believe, what's close to $19 million.
Close to, yeah, because they're adding about 10.4 to
Yeah.
6.4, yep.
Yeah.
So we're really excited, and there's being with this partnership and being with a co-op. Let's figure it. Todd, in 1930, REA already developed this thing with electricity, and why invent the wheel again? I mean, we're going to be going on, working off of their poles and right of ways and stuff like that. So they have the right strategy in mind.
Yeah, and they've been working on it for a number of years as well. They were going after it on their own, and now all of a sudden they have the opportunity to step in a partnership with Indiana County, and so why not take advantage of that?
Sure.
That's really a good thing. But people are getting very excited about the fact that broadband is coming to areas that are underserved or unserved at all, and they see the trucks now, and they see the people out there working on it, and it gets them sort of keyed up for what's going to be happening and what will be available to them. There are people with home-based businesses that are just thrilled.
Sure, and the other thing to remember is Salzgiver, who's had the past contracts, they're continuing to build on what I want to call their trunk lines also. So that doesn't go away. That continues, and they will continue to reach out and bring in people on.
Yeah. Okay, so all I had to say was the word broadband.
And I really don't want to spend a lot of time on the topic, Todd, but I said at our meeting, our state has been working with us. Of course, there's lots of money. There was just $200 million released for RFP for continual broadband across the state of Pennsylvania. There are literally billions at the federal level that will be continuing to come. So this is not the last. This is just the beginning. And what's so awesome is we're so in front of this as a county, in front of our state. We're a leader in this way, and it's really great to be in this position. So we feel really good about where we are and the decisions we're making.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, but I just wanted to throw out there, we got to give Byron Stauffer a lot of credit too, because I mean he's the hands-on, boots on the ground kind of thing. He does a lot of this negotiation And again, one other thing that this funding that went out, this whole bill went out, hit every township in Indiana County. Every township got hit by this one.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. Shireen Hess, we haven't heard from you yet on this topic.
Well, I'll just finish up on that to say that the next steps in this horizon of broadband is digital literacy and affordability. And I don't want people to forget that those are two things that are on our radar screens as well when it comes to broadband.
Yeah.
And we take it for granted that we know how to use the internet, but a lot of people don't. And then there's all the worries about cybersecurity and things like that. So.
The basics of connectivity and then actual usage. You're right. Those are things we need to pay attention to.
We'll have a lot of partners in that aim too. You know, our libraries and our workforce investment partners. There will be a number. Our aging services are working on digital literacy, just connecting people.
Yeah.
So lots to come.
All right. So that was my one word, and I'll let the rest of the words up to any of you who wants to speak on whatever the topic might be. Shireen, you were most recently speaking, so let's continue with you. What's on your mind today?
Gosh, well, it's springtime, although the weather wouldn't tell you that. But you know, the farmers are out and doing what they do, and our conservation district is running strong, running many programs. We've got our agricultural conservation assistance program, which is millions of dollars come into into Indiana County for help for our farmers, our producers. The greenhouses, anybody who's a producer is eligible for those dollars. So we encourage people to contact our agricultural folks at the Conservation District, and our farmland preservation is gearing up as usual. You know, farmland preservation is very important. We don't have a lot of development pressure here, but we do have things like solar farms that are coming to our producers, and those folks wanting to know what. Do you want to put a solar farm on? Well, there's a lot of nuances to that. So we're trying to gear up and be prepared and be, one step ahead of that game so that, solar is a great thing. And we're looking at actually how that might work for some of our county facilities and other large buildings. But there are a lot of things people need to know about it. So we're trying to stay ahead of that.
And this is Rural Road Safety Week.
Yeah.
So we need to.
That's right.
Careful around our farm equipment.
For sure. And I bet we all see lots of the Amish with their vehicles too. And so, yes, slow down. It's also Workers' Own Safety Week.
That's true, yeah.
There's a lot happening. So everyone just slow down, take it easy. We live in the countryside. I know we'll all get to where we need to go. So thanks for mentioning that.
Little Mayberry RFD is what we need happening here. Robin Gorman, what's on your mind today?
Well, I want to talk about that because there's all of what we call our partners, our human services side, the people, really the things that impact their lives day to day. So we did several proclamations at our last meeting. So this month we recognize Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and we also want to give a big shout out to our Alice Paul House and all the partners around human services, whether that's our children and youth services and our human support services around that. It's also Autism Awareness Month. We want to give a shout out to the ARC and all of their efforts and partners to allow, what I love their tagline is, allow people to live their best lives. Mm-hmm. And I really like that. It's 4/12 Thrive. It was a day that we recognized, but that's a lot to do with cancer and overcoming cancer. So that touches my heart. Indiana County Walks. So there's a lot being done with our multimodal efforts, right, to get people walking and out and healthy and enjoy our parks and trails and everything that Indiana County has to offer. So the first one scheduled for April 22nd. I want to give a big shout out to Josh Krug and his folks and all the work they're doing on all the alternatives to get out and walk and be healthy. That started at IRMC many years ago. I don't know if you remember that, but that was the first walk over there, and it was really a lot of fun. And then it's Fair Housing Month, and so we made a lot of provisions, and we continue to work with our human services, making sure people have housing, they know where they can go to have shelter if they need that. And for housing pricing and all kinds of amenities that come with that so that they know that they don't have to be out there and be homeless.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Mike Keith, we've talked to you about broadband. What else is going on with you today?
Well, I just want to put a reminder out there to all the residents of Indiana County. This weather has been great. We've had the last couple weeks, we've been seeing high temperatures, and just want to remind people, be careful when you burn. The firefighters have been out, these brush fires, numerous brush fires. Some of them are big. Just recently, I believe up in Siegel, almost 500 acres was burned.
Yeah.
But, just even though you might think a little bit of rain's going to help, when the wind picks up, it starts drying things out. We don't have the rain that soaked the ground and everything to be safe out there. But please be careful when you go to light those fires. And if you don't have to light it, don't light it. There'll be days coming up that you can do that later on. It's not going to go away. But watch when you strike the match. Always remember, you can be fined by DCNR if they feel it's appropriate. So
Yeah.
there's a cost to it.
Plus, you are liable for any of the property damage. I mean,
You're liable for it all.
beyond a fine.
And if it catches on your neighbor's ground, you're going to be paying for your neighbor's whatever damage.
Yeah.
And
Good
Todd,
point.
can I just put an exclamation on my human services side and thank all of our firefighters, our volunteers, the people that come out, leave their homes and their families to help save property, life for so many others in our communities. And they're amazing people. I believe next Monday is Peace Officers Recognition Month. Our police, our emergency responders, they continue to amaze me, although it shouldn't. They're the everyday boots on our ground, just like veterans that go out and fight for our securities and our liberties. They're our everyday heroes, and I just give a huge shout out to them.
Yeah. Appropriately so. Thank you all for coming.
Thank
for the
you.
visit. We appreciate that. It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160, and online at WCCSradio.org.
At the Shoemaker